These are completely redesigned air deflectors intended to divert more cold air into the engine bay of your Corvette C8 while you're driving. Welcome back to Donslife, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything that I've learned about these. Not only where the idea comes from, but what makes this particular design different from the growing number of options that are already entering the market. And I want to be very clear up front, choice is a good thing. There are now more versions of these on the market than ever before, including official ones made by GM. Full disclosure, I don't even know if this performance modification is something that every C8 owner wants or needs at all. My goal here isn't to make any dramatic claims. It's to educate you on what these are, what sets them apart, and how they compare in concept to the other options that exist. And then for curiosity's sake, we'll do some before and after testing, have them installed, and see if anything changes. I wouldn't get your hopes up. Big claims are not my style. Besides, we have the cooling effect of the dead of winter. Let's go. If Dynamic Cap sounds familiar, it should. I've worked with them before, showcasing a few versions of their customizable floating center caps, and to this day, I still get compliments and questions about them. So when Dynamic Caps reached out to me and told me they went back to the drawing board on their air deflector design, I was genuinely curious. What a lot of people don't realize is that GM themselves introduced this product for the European-spec C8s. This is something we don't have in North America. Those OEM aluminum versions bolt right up to all the North American C8s, all the different versions, no problem. They are different than these because they are aluminum, where this is 3D printed, but they have 3 points of contact when mounting. This only has 2, and I'll explain why. In a short period of time, other companies, even the DIY community, started experimenting with this concept, including 3D printed versions that have floated around online. Dynamic Caps also used that same 3D print model that was online and started offering a version of their own. However, that brings us to our Aero Widebody edition, designed from the ground up, and it shows. This isn't a reprint, it's a proprietary design built specifically to improve fitment, strength, and airflow. So I know one question that'll come up right away is why only 2 points of mounting contact? This is actually intentional. Having only 2 mounting points in a bottom out or road impact scenario, these are designed to break away, rather than staying attached, dragging on the pavement, or worse, being forced up into the engine bay. And if that ever happens, these are backed with a 1-year, no questions asked warranty. That's right, if you break one off or both, just send pictures and proof of purchase, and they'll send you out a new one or a new set. There's also a really solid article published on Corvette Blogger. No, not this one. This was one they did on me when I was snow driving last year. There's one specifically for this part, which outlines 10 specific improvements made with the Aero Widebody version. I'll link the article below in the video description if you want to go deeper. So I promise to tell you what makes this product unique. First of all, the construction, the durability. You can tell they're reinforced in key areas, as well as they're made with an advanced composite design, including carbon fiber. They're tough. I'm squeezing as hard as I can, and they're barely flexing. And you know I'm really tough up here in Canada because all we do is build igloos and wrestle grizzly bears. If you've seen variations of these before, you can tell right away that they're wider, actually 60% wider for the intake design. Not only does it have a guard on it, which we'll talk about in a moment, you might have noticed on the back it's not flat. There's some ducting vanes here to help with airflow and help cut down on turbulence. And because of this wider intake design, they can actually make these shallower so they don't hang down as low. Less risk of hitting them on something. And we talked about the breakaway design with the 2 mounting locations, but one of my favorite is the protective mesh in the front. That's going to stop bugs, stones, debris from getting into your engine compartment. On the other versions I've seen, there's nothing stopping those contaminants from getting in your engine bay. Now for the Corvette owners, you know the struggle. If you happen to have side skirts like these, you're always collecting little rocks and pebbles. If you have vents, you collect stuff in there, but you also know that the whole underside is completely flat. If I was to drop this 10mm socket, which is always the one that you lose, down in here right now, it's not hitting the floor. It's gonna sit in the under tray and be there forever, or at least until I go on an expedition to try and find it. So that's why I think this guard is actually a good idea. Can you imagine the accumulation of just stuff without it? So in my opinion, those are just some of the things that make this product stand out compared to some of the others on the market. But I think what we need to do now is take the Corvette C8 outside, get it warmed up, and get a bit of a baseline when it comes to some of the temperatures, then come back, install them, and then do it all over again and compare. Okay, I literally just backed into the garage. Let's use one of these cheap readers here and check the temperatures. Let me switch to Fahrenheit. First I gotta do this right, so we're gonna set this to average temp, and then we're going to change it to Fahrenheit. Okay, so let's point at the cats. Oh, let's put the laser on there so we can see what we're doing. Okay, on the cats, average temperature 148.3. Let's do on the end of the header here. Got 330, it's climbing, 341.8. Let's go down on the block, right there. We are 136, right here. We are at 69.4. So let's do the installation, and then we'll go for the same drive to Costco and back, and we'll do a comparison. But I trust the scanner more than I trust this thing. Mrs. Donslife's going to guide me onto these ramps.
It a little.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Yeah, you're good.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Donslife. Okay, we are under the car. These are labeled passenger side and driver side. There's a little stamped letter right there. It says P. And these are designed a little differently than the others. They actually go at a bit of an angle right here. That's going to allow air to easily get to your rear ducts if you have them installed. But this is going to go right here at a little bit of an inward angle. So let's get the bolts off and attach it. Now you could go and put Loctite on. I don't even know if I'm going to keep these on, so I'm just going to reinstall the bolt. It's a little cramped under here, so forgive me for the technique. I'm doing everything with one hand. Okay, one down. Okay, round two, driver's side. Okay, that should be that. Okay, the dynamic ducts are installed according to the instructions, which got a little wet. I just wanted the picture for reference. It's from their website, but we are going to do the same route again, and then we'll back into the garage. I'm going to record all the temperatures there and back, and I'm also going to use that crappy scanner and get some temperatures in the engine bay, and then I'm going to sit down with all the data and report back to you. You know what I like about this scanner is that it's going to remember all the settings. So we are going to start scanning again because I left it in standby mode. You can see our temperatures are starting to register. It is -10. It's been -9, -10 pretty much for the most part of this day. So let's go finish this up. And then that will be the same testing data as the first time. I don't expect it to be that dramatic. You can see we have a lot of snow out here. I don't really know what to expect, but driving in the snow is fun. still on our way. It's -9 now, so the temperature has risen a little bit just outside. Guess we'll see how this goes. Okay, we are done the one-way test with the ducts installed, and I hit like every red light on the way here, so I don't know if that's going to be a fair comparison with round one without them installed. So I'm hoping that this drive back from the Costco area, Costco's right there, I think I'd be insane to go back into Costco, but I'm going to drive back. We're going to hope for similar conditions so I can maintain similar average speeds, and then we'll get back to the garage and we'll take our measurements. Again, not a very controlled study. There's more traffic now because it's the weekend, it's getting closer to dinner time, and more people are just out and about trying to hurry up and get home, I guess. So hopefully I don't have too much traffic, and I'm going to start recording the 4th data set and we'll see what we end up with. What I can tell you is my oil temperature seems to be staying relatively decent. I won't focus there. But the coolant temperature has been the highest now than it's been all day. So wish me luck. Twice as many cars lined up as before leaving Costco. And when I'm stopped at these lights, why does everyone look at me like I'm doing something out of the ordinary? Just a Corvette C8 rear-wheel drive in winter conditions. It has a weather button. I'm not using it. I'm using Z mode, but I live on the edge. Well, 2 for 2 in the red lights. 2 for 2. Three for 3. We made it. Now let's do some temperature readings. Let's switch over to average, which is on, and Fahrenheit, it's on. We are ready to go. Let's scan the cat. Sorry if it doesn't focus, but we've got 138.9 on average. Back of the header. Just holding it there for a while. Got 240, keeps warming up. 243 we'll say. And the block is 128.3. And then this front bulkhead piece, 70.7. So those are the readings. We will go and get the readings and data off of this, analyze it, and we'll get back to you. This thing's been really handy too. I reviewed it earlier this year. Seems to be good with all my GM vehicles. I haven't done everything that it's capable of or tested everything that it's capable of, but if you're interested in getting a scanner, I will leave a link in the video description below. All right, the main event, I've compiled the data. I have to admit, I'm actually quite surprised. So I hope you didn't write anything down because I'm going to go over it with you right now. All right, let's have a look at our baseline. This was the first trip to Costco, just stock, nothing was installed yet. And we're gonna compare it to the second trip to Costco once they were installed. So first, let me just explain the different things that we were reading here. We have our ambient air temperature. So that's what the vehicle was measuring, is the outside temperature. And we were seeing 15.8 degrees. And then we had our catalyst temperature banks, 1 and 2, so driver's side and passenger side. Bank 1 is upstream exhaust temps into the cat, and then we have downstream exhaust temperatures out of the cat. So we're gonna do fair comparisons all the way across the board. And you can see here that we were in the over 1,000-degree range. I would classify my driving as moderate, so we should see temperatures in this range. We're not tracking the car, we're daily driving it, so we're gonna see if these ducts actually do anything to daily driving, not just a track situation. And then we have our coolant temps here. Sensor 2 doesn't apply on this vehicle, so we'll skip that. But let's see what the differences are. So when it comes to ambient air temperature, we were the same, no change, 15.8. We were cooler on bank 1 for the catalyst, and we were cooler on bank 2. And we were the same for the coolant temperatures, and our air intake temperature was 2 degrees warmer. So we had 2 degrees warmer intake, and we had more cooling with the ducts. So there we go. We got a little bit of cooling out of those. Okay, let's look at the return home test. I'm just gonna get right to it. We had the same ambient air temperature. We had 90 degrees cooler for the bank 1 on the catalyst, and we had 86.4 degrees cooler on bank 2. Our coolant was also 1.8 degrees cooler, and our air intake temperature ended up being the same. So what do you know? They work. But wait, there's more. Remember the readings with this? I wrote them on the back for you. We have 148.3 for the catalytic converter. With the ducts, 138.9. The header, 341.8 down to 243. The engine block, 136 to 128.3. The bulkhead was cooler on the first test before the ducts, and it was a little warmer in the engine bay. I don't completely trust these. I feel if we did this 10 times, we would have some inconsistencies. But either way, that's what we got from it. I have to admit, I'm still kind of surprised. I didn't expect to see the consistency when it came to the cooling. Installing these in the winter, I'm not tracking the car, we're doing moderate driving. So that just tells me if you daily drive the car, these Widebody edition dynamic ducts, they actually work. So I think this is a great place to end the video. If you want to get yourself a set, I'll leave a link in the video description below. And don't forget to use the promo code Donslife to save yourself some money. And if you felt this video was valuable and educational, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing, and we'll talk to you next time.